It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, folks, it's all doom and gloom. I think what we should do is just put the black curtain on Hazleton and just all kill ourselves, because the end of the world is coming. This whole town is falling apart. The town isn't what it should be. It's a shame. Let's shoot ourselves in the head and let's kill ourselves and get rid of all the problems we have. Well, folks, it's not that bad at all. The city of Hazleton is thriving. There's a lot of great things happening. And don't say to me that I don't know what's going on. I know what's going on, folks. And today we have Mayor Joseph Yannuzzi and City Administrator Steve Hahn on the show to talk about facts. Okay, folks, I'm talking about facts. Not bull, not rhetoric, not nonsense, not blurring headlines and TV, local television news, etc. We're going to talk about facts about the city of Hazleton. Yes, we have some concerns, but folks, we don't have the serious problems that people think we have, okay? And I would hope that you just listen to the show. Whether you like Joe Yannuzzi, hate him, love him, Steve Hahn, I don't care. Let's look at facts today. Mayor, with that being said, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm surprised you're not totally gray.
No, well, there's other reasons for that.
And Steve, you are gray, so you've been through the mill. First of all, Steve, congratulations on the city administrator. It's a challenge, and I have to say that from what I see and what our news department tells us, it is a challenge, and you're doing a fine job. Of course, you're doing well with the school board. That's another challenge. Why you want to have two of them, I have no idea. Let me ask you something, Steve. The condition of the city, as far as financial condition, because you're in charge of money, where are we at?
There was a tax increase this year, as everybody knows. It was something that was needed to bring things to a stable point. We were at a point where the banks were not in a position to ever really loan money to the city. They made that very clear. The Pennsylvania Economy League was here, did a study, looked at everything, and made some recommendations. And they approved a loan to the city in 2011, worked with Landmark Bank to help get through a transition period. And there were a lot of conditions that were put on the city at the time. Some of them were to get your financial house in order, and some steps have been made with this tax increase and some other provisions that we've made to try to do that. And I think we're at the point now where that is something that's been stabilized. For every dollar that's spent, there's a dollar of revenue that is there to show for it. So the year to this point has tracked, the budget is $8.7 million in our general fund, and we're right on track with expenses. There's about an $80,000 surplus currently as we stand today, but that will disappear, I'm sure. But the tax bills were sent out earlier this year in January. The county sent their bills out in January. They included the city in that bill, which again caused some difficulties for some folks combining those, but that gives us money earlier in the year for the city, so we didn't have to borrow money. They had gone a number of years where they borrowed money through a tax anticipation note to get through to the point where the tax money from property tax comes in. So we don't need to do that. That's going to save $30,000 or so in interest expenses. So that's a good sign, a real good sign.
One thing that I think sometimes, the average person, because they have a lot going and they're not really in the city finances, is that you inherit a debt. It didn't establish just when Joe Yannuzzi was the mayor, or Barletta was the mayor, or Marsicano was the mayor. Each year you inherit debt. And when you inherit that debt, you have to try to somehow get rid of that debt. So, it's quick to say if Mayor Lesante, oh yeah, what is he doing? Well, didn't know he inherited, maybe $2 million, $3 million, or whatever in debt from previous administrations, such as Governor Corbett. He inherited a $4 billion debt from Rendell, and not that I'm raising a flag for Corbett, but the poor guy, they inherit that. So now you want to bring that back into your budget. So what you're doing is, from what I understand, is trying to satisfy the debt that you had, plus keep the city going.
Mm-hmm. And there were some things that combined. There were some revenue enhancements that previously had been done. The Hazleton Creek Partnership brought in $600,000 a year to the city in a payment or rental fee. That ended at the end of 2012. There was money coming in from a sewer transmission fee that ended at the end of 2012 that brought in about $600,000 as well. So the combination of those two things had to be made up. That was a good part of the reason for a tax increase. The debt we have, the city has 2 bond issues currently for about $12 million is what is owed and what had been borrowed. The service on that is about $1.2 million per year. It's all paid through a debt fund that's paid through an assessment on the property taxes. So that equals one another. The banks and Pennsylvania Economy League folks have met with the mayor and I, and they're very pleased with that. They think by the end of the year we may be in a position financially to be able to refinance those and save some additional money on interest, but only if we can show we've been fiscally responsible throughout the year.
And if you recall, going back to when they were bringing the dredge in, that was the dredge, right?
Yes.
We had everyone and their brother who thought we were bringing poison in, and et cetera, and it was bringing $600,000, and now people are fighting for it. You can't get it.
Right.
Okay, here again, being misled by politicians who had agendas. Okay, and I don't care whether they're Democrats or Republicans. I think the people are disgusted and fed up with this kind of nonsense without knowing facts. You have people who I've said this before. Cut the nonsense out. Come up with facts, okay, and talk about solutions here, okay. And I'm going to talk to the mayor about some of these things that you hear all the time in town meetings and the whole bit. Are we getting solutions? But Steve, dealing with numbers, how is the city as far as right now financially?
Right now, as I said, for the dollars we're spending, we've got dollars coming in. We don't have to borrow any money this year. Some things that do need to be looked at are some revenue enhancements. The tax base has been very stagnant. The earned income tax has been pretty flat over the years, so that means the city really needs to get some jobs in the area, in the city, that can bring some more of that income into the city and tax revenue to them. Some businesses, if there's more activity from a business standpoint, that can bring in some more money from property taxes and things. And the mayor has worked with locally with some announcements this year about buildings in the downtown that are going to be refurbished and people moving in here. That's going to be a spark that's really going to set off the downtown, I believe, to bring in some revenue from those sources. We're also looking at other ways to bring in some money, and some things we're still working on will announce as they come about.
And boy, you talk about incentives, all right? And this is what I started the show off saying, doom and gloom, let's shut our shoots, let's put a big black curtain over Hazleton. And yet, in the same token, we have a lot of people born and raised here trying to, they have properties and they're just being told things are bad and you're going to get shot in the streets and you're going to get raped and mugged and all this other stuff. Not saying it's not going on. I'm not denying that. The incentive is to bring jobs downtown, and you need to bring them by giving them incentives. And if you're going to scare me from coming down here, because really, if I was not a native of this area, all right, and I did not know this town and know the great people that live in this town, I would have never bought this building and came downtown, because someone would have said, "You're going to go downtown? My God, you can't even walk the streets. I mean, you're going to be crazy, etc." And my family would have said, "There's no way you're going to invest a building in downtown. You're going to invest in some other place." But we believed in Hazleton, and that's why we made this investment. Which leads me, after the break, folks, to talk to the good mayor and find out what he's doing. Okay, we're hearing a lot of things. There was a town meeting, as you know. What was accomplished from that meeting? Nothing wrong with town meetings, but what happens at these meetings, and what are we doing, and what is he doing, and why wasn't he there? Be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Thank you very much, folks, for making our news #1 again. February ratings came in, and folks, 27,000 households are watching Local News 13 Monday every weekday night. It's more than some broadcast stations put together in the morning, and they cover 16 counties, and we're very happy. Also very proud to say that we won the Accolade Award in the production department, which is an international award. Maybe, I think, 3 in the country won it. We did. And our all around the town shows, folks, are doing fabulous. We appreciate that very much. My guest today, Mayor Joseph Yannuzzi. Where has he been? What's he doing? And, of course, Steve Hahn, who is the city administrator. Well, Mayor, let me tell you something, okay? They're saying that you do not want to face up to the facts. You're not at you weren't at the town meeting. Where's the mayor? He's hiding. He should be there. Blah, 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 blah. So, Mayor, where were you and what's going on?
Well, they always ask where I am. doesn't mean that I don't know what's going on. I'm in City Hall 40, 50 hours a week. I mean, I know what's going on. I hear the people out there. I know the problems that they have. For me to go to that town meeting, I sent one of the best people I could possibly send, was Frank DeAndre, who's in charge of that department. And Steve, if there's anything to do with finance, he's capable of doing it. I know what they're saying, and I know what they want. One of the solutions that they came up with is that we need more police. This solution was decided in my administration last year. We put it into the budget. They took it out, the council. Well, I've instructed Frank DeAndrea, the chief, to bring the civil service list to me. I'm going to hire 2 more police officers. I'm going to put them on the force as soon as possible. He's going to bring me the chart later today, and we're going to pick the top candidates, and that announcement will come out. The reason we're doing this, because that's not the solution. That's part of the solution. We need more cops on the street. And the people have asked, and I'm going to do it. We feel, Steve and I, have looked at the finances and feel that we can maneuver enough money to carry these police with a transfer. So it'll take us a while to get this transfer together, but in the meantime, we're in the process of hiring 2 police. This will be news for you.
Well, listen, it's an excellent step. And I have to tell you, I have a lot of good friends who are in the city police department. And again, I'm not just saying this. I wouldn't want to be a cop today in a million years. Mm-hmm. But your cops are fantastic. They are absolutely, they work hard. They are fantastic. Yes. I mean that sincerely, considering, and sure, I don't think, I've never heard anyone complain to me about anything. They just do their job. And Frank's right when he says, you know, very proud of the police. And I'm glad to hear you're adding 2 more police. Yes. Now, okay, so, you know, I'm all for getting together and discussing things, okay? I've been doing this from day one. I'm the one that said that we should have some town meetings. However, to me, a town meeting is coming up with solutions for a problem, okay? Bitching and moaning all the time is one thing, and I mentioned about doom and gloom. I know we have to report the news, there's no question about it. And our media partners, you know, and the standard speaker, we try to present the news, we can't hide the news. Now, how we do it is another way, okay? Sometimes headlines sell, sometimes our opening sells, but the point is, Hazleton, to me, Joseph, is not a bad city. When you compare Hazleton with Reading, Wilkes-Barre, and all the different towns in the state of Pennsylvania, once again, look, I know we have murders, I know we have, you know, muggings, but we're not a bad city. I mean, it's just isolated incidences.
Not at all. Not at town meeting, getting back to that town meeting, if you watched it carefully and saw the speakers, they're the same speakers that talk at council, every council meeting. We didn't get the other public opinions. Mm-hmm. I get people coming to me all the time with ideas. They're more free to express themselves when it's a one-on-one. To ask some people who have some great ideas to go and get in front of a mic and pronounce about what is there, 10 people on a panel and all that, that's not going to get you to your solutions.
Well, it's funny, Kathy and I were talking about Baczynski, who is our news director and media, public relations media director. We talked about sometimes meetings are good, but closed meetings are better sometimes where you could discuss, you know, that you don't have the cameras on you, or not that you don't want to, but you could freely discuss creative things. Solutions to me are important, and I think when the chief comes on the show next week, he'll discuss some of those things. You know, if you come up and say, all right, here's what we're doing. In Alta Street, we're doing this. And a popular street, we're going to be doing this. Or downtown Hazleton, we have started this. And now you just announced you got 2 more policemen coming on board. Let me tell you, I think the police department are very much aware of what's happening in this town. I think they know where the problem areas are.
Right.
And I think they're zeroing in on those areas. And I think the FBI and the district attorney, I think we all know, they know what's going on. So in terms of the general, you know, what do we have for incentives? I just told you, I don't know if we would have moved downtown if I wasn't a native of this area, okay? What do you have as the mayor of Hazleton trying to entice me to come downtown, Joseph?
The only thing I have is, you know, CD money, there's help in that situation, to either beautify your business or to purchase a business or a building, we can do that. But the main thing is the perception of downtown. I am trying really hard to work on changing the perception. We worked hard to get the D'Angelos come down. They're going to change this town completely. The Grecos are fighting us, and it's like 15 years that piece of property has been non-productive. It hasn't been anything. We need change. We need change downtown. We need people downtown. We need people on the streets walking the sidewalks, and this is going to happen, but it's slow. Getting MnSEC out of here is another challenge. We have all these challenges, and we're working on them. I mean, we're trying to change what is downtown at this moment.
And Steve, before on the break, you mentioned something that I wanted to bring up, okay? Wilsey Center, and we were talking about the different things that we have in town?
Yes. I mean, just one thing to mention, that there are some very bad headlines about some horrific events, a murder, whatever, and then we had 11, a complete sellout at a George Thorogood show. People are not afraid to come down and watch shows. It's a great, great thing. Michael Bolton was here a couple weeks ago to another sellout, and two great, great shows in the center of the city. I think the Hazleton Integration Project, another community center at the old Jewish Community Center. People want to build a better community here, and you can see the money coming into it, you can see the support coming into it, and I think coupled with the downtown, this is going to be a much better city fairly soon.
You here, Steve, and Joe, you live in downtown. You live right in downtown, okay? So you didn't, you're not escaping it. You're in the city. But people, particularly people who've been here all their, you hear it, I hear it. What happened to Hazleton? What happened to our town, okay? Well, what happened to our town?
What happened is age. We became an older town, older population, and we changed in the process. The older properties became very enticing to people who wanted to buy a home from out of town. They moved in because the prices were right. To rent a place, it was cheaper. So that's how we got this influx. Now we're growing again, and we have these growing pains. We are not a nice little small town. We're a nice little big city. Mm-hmm. We are a city, and we have the problems of a city.
Looking at budgets, okay, yours is 8 million something, 8.1 million. Right. Okay, looking, and we compare, and here again, compare Hazleton. Now you're going to increase the police department, okay?
Yes.
But, so if you compare, even if increasing the police department, still will like another 10 more if we can get them, okay?
Well, we're actually bringing it back to its capacity of close to 40.
Oh, terrific.
Right.
Now, looking at other towns of the similar situation that we have, as far as tax base,
Right.
Steve and Joe, and as far as, budgets, what do we have?
If you look at the population of Easton, they're the same as ours. There may be 100 people more or less, and our budget is 8 million. Theirs is 28 million. That's their budget. They have a police force, I think, of 60-some police officers. We have 30-some. That's not good. I mean, it's very difficult to do, and I compliment Frank and his police force for what they're doing. I mean, these last crimes, most of them are solved so far. The beating is the only one they're working on that right now, but all the other, the shooting and that, they're solved.
From what I understand, here again, because again, people are nervous, and they have every right to be nervous. And I'm not going to say just be carefree. Of course, no matter where you live, you still want to protect yourself and take the precautions you should in protecting your home, etc. But I think what happens is, I think they're getting, again, it's out of proportion. And the city of Hazleton, again, it's the people that make this town. We have great people in this town. Joseph, you live here. You've been here all your life.
Absolutely. I'm a Hazletonian through and through. And I just don't like when they bash Hazleton. It bothers me.
Well,
so I'm trying to eliminate that by making change.
Well, here's another thing, Joe. They say, the people ask why you were there last night, and I think you just answered that question. At the town meeting I'm talking about, folks. Right. But the other thing is city council meetings, okay? Why aren't you at the city council meetings? Well,
the city council meetings, it's not necessary for me to be there. Steve goes, Frank goes, whenever we have something on their agenda, because if you listen to the statement, it's a council meeting. Should be run by the council. And we give them ordinances. Now, we give them ordinances that we would like to see passed. So we attend those meetings. I attended the budget meetings. I went there. I argued my points, what I would like to see. I didn't win that one because they chopped it to bits anyway. But like Steve's there, if we have something that we need passed, especially like CD, Ned is there. If we have anything in code, the code people are there. So we show up when there's something that we need. But otherwise, they should run their own meeting. How come they can't get along without me? Why do they need me there?
Maybe to pick on you, and
Maybe.
yeah, maybe they want to yell at you, Joseph.
Maybe.
Do you think we should have full-time councilmen?
Full-time councilman? No.
Okay.
No. What? If you look at their agendas, some of the agendas are one item. Last week, I think it was, right? There was one item on the agenda. It was a 2-hour meeting. You know, so I don't think we need full-time councilmen at all.
Folks, I'm talking to Mayor Joseph Yannuzzi and Steve Hahn, City Administrator. Folks, one thing we're doing is, they say to me, well, you're going to favor Joe, you're going to favor Steve. Listen, I like Joe and I like Steve, but let me tell you something. They do something, they're going to be accountable for it, okay? Period. They're going to be accountable for it. And we deal with facts, all right? Come with facts. I know some of you sent me emails, Sam, I brought a lot of facts. Well, the same facts are there for the same number of years, and it's just like, it's just the same thing over and over again. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. You heard right here on Sam Lesante Show today. Of course, the show is played for a number of times. The mayor announced we're going to have 2 more additional police on our force, which is fantastic. Steve, as far as you mentioned about security, what's happening with security?
Well, I think just one of the things, the schools, the Castle and Heights Terrace or Arthur Street are schools in the city proper, and that's part of a bigger picture. They're looking at putting metal detectors and beefing up the security in all the schools so that they have been safe, but we want to make sure that there are no additional problems. There's been some discussions with the school district and the city to try to see ways that we could partner together to make that more cost effective, to provide even more and improved security there. Education is vitally important. We need to make those very much safe havens in a community. As well as these community centers, I think are going to be another way that this place really moves ahead and grows. A revitalized downtown, things are looking up for the city.
Joseph, now getting back to, first of all, do you object to any town meetings?
No.
Okay. But again, my input would be if there's another town meeting, I am planning something huge in May. And I think it's going to be something that it's going to be, I can assure you this, it will be beneficial. It will not be rhetoric. It will not be getting up and patting myself in the back or anybody, but it's going to bring something that the people in this community, all of northeastern Pennsylvania is going to gain by it, because it's going to be a good thing, or I won't have it.
The format of that town meeting should have been more of the town speaking out. The residents should have spoke more.
I think Chief DeSoy said it right. He hit it along with Frank. They said, look, we put people in jail. Right. We looked at these people. What are the solutions that you have? I mean, Frank does his job, and so does DeSoy. We put people in jail. The district attorney, and doing a fine job. But what are all the now? Yes, voice your concerns, but I think they have, some people figured they have an avenue with a camera and a microphone, and you could do it. But in a closed meeting, I think you could do it, Steve.
But you do need to start earlier than that, as was mentioned also, is when you get to the police level where people are arrested in the DA, that's too late. We need to really change the community to where
drugs are the problem.
Right, absolutely.
Drugs are the problem, and until we address the drug problem, until these young people are educated enough, and the people, and it's sad that even professional people are using drugs, okay? The habits here, people need the habit, so they're going to steal, they're going to rob, they're going to shoot, they're going to murder, they're going to do everything they possibly can. Joe, about a minute left. For the future, okay, of Hazleton. Now, you were born and raised here. You live in downtown Hazleton. You've made a commitment to this town, okay? Whether they like Joe Yannuzzi, hate him, I hear about you hired your cousin. He doesn't know what he's doing, et cetera, et cetera. And you hear all this kind of stuff. And, I just say bring facts up, okay? Because my brother is good in doing something, that means I should not utilize his talents. I don't have a brother, but I'm just saying. Well, where are we going in this?
But, Sam, I'm building an administration to work with. I need people around me I can trust.
Period.
And that's why these people are there, and that's why Steve is in the position he's in. I trust these people. When I ask them to do something, they do it. I mean, I would never, and this is no pun, but I mean, Monday or Mope, I wouldn't put a Monday or Mope in my administration because you hear how they talk about me. That I could not trust those people. I trust him, and I trust Dominic, and I trust Frank DeAndrea. And Frank Vito, all of them I trust. So that's why they're in my administration. It has nothing to do with they're incompetent, because they're very competent and very trustworthy. They have loyalty to me.
Well, Joseph, I could tell you one thing. I could ditto that, because when I was the chairman of the board of the college, it was most emphatically that you need to surround you with people who trust, because there's things that you need to discuss. Right. And there are people, unfortunately, who don't like you, and no matter what they could do to hurt you, right, they're going to do it. And it's the same thing with any political thing. You have the liberal Democrats, the conservative Republicans, and no matter what happens, it's going to be that way. I love Lent, because Lent is telling you to forgive your enemies,
yes,
etc. And I love all the hypocrites that go to all these different churches who they're holier than thou. They leave the church and they're talking about everybody, criticizing everybody, hate everybody, but they're in church and they're held their fans, and they're all these hypocrites, whether Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, okay, but yet they're too very fast to criticize a person and bring them down without even knowing the facts, okay? I may not like some of the things you do, Steve, in the school board. I may not like what some of Yankelevich she does. However, I respect her and I respect her family, okay? And I think we should deal with facts, not because I don't like a person and they'll do everything to discredit you and bring you down. And that's such a sad situation. I wish people would just give them another little opportunity, no matter whether you like or dislike a person. Steve, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I'm sure I'll see you again. You know, you're running for school board director. Get your head checked, okay? We have a head checker on the way out. Yeah, you got two challenges. And Joe, you know, you're always appreciate you coming on the show.
I'll tell you where I'm hiding so you could see me.
Where you hide? Yeah, will you please? I know you're always hiding. But
you're in my office. There you go.
I wish I had a dime for every call you get in your office, Joe, huh?
Oh, I'd be rich.
Yeah. Mayor Yannuzzi, folks, we are planning something huge for May. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's going to be something that'll bring solutions, okay, and it'll be great for not only Hazleton, but all of northeastern Pennsylvania. We're in the process of putting it together. It's going to be something that's going to knock your socks off. I will be working with our media partners. They don't know about it yet, but they're going to know about it by the end of the week. And it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be something positive. Let's keep us a positive attitude, folks, if you could. We'll see you next time.